All right, so we're at GDC checking out Topsoil, brand new puzzle game here. So let's take a look. What's the deal here? What are we
So
doing?
I'm going to restart the tutorial here and we're going to walk through the basics.
Okay.
So this is a puzzle gardening game, and in this game you're basically managing your soil while kind of harvesting plants. And your goal is to harvest as many plants as you can. And the trick is that every time you harvest, you also cycle the soil underneath the plants.
Okay.
So there's 3 different types of soil, and basically the different soil types you can see kind of create discontinuities between the soil that you're planting in. And so, for instance, if I were to, ordinarily I would be able to harvest like a group like this, but here this group is actually disconnected, so I'm not able to harvest it.
Yeah.
So this is like a bad move, but maybe a good move. And that's actually kind of most of the basics.
Okay. So your queue is what's coming in from the top there, yeah?
Right, so you have basically 3 plants to plant, and then you get to harvest something.
Okay.
And that cadence kind of sets you up to need to remove 3 plants every turn, otherwise you start losing space.
Yeah.
And if you lose space, if you run out of space, it's game over.
So it's a puzzle game of crop rotation.
Exactly.
Oh.
Crop and soil rotation. So you can kind of create these fields, and then you get rewarded quite heavily for making large groups, so it's often worth it to kind of push yourself in order to get the biggest group that you can. So this is tempting here, but I'm gonna, since I see that there's 2 more coming, I can actually wait and kind of push myself. And in fact, if I do this, I have 1 more coming here.
Yeah.
I can get 1 additional one, which is worth quite a lot. Because
Okay.
it's
So then, yeah. Oh,
multiplier.
okay. So you get a huge clue there. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And that gives you a lot of space.
So is there like a score multiplier system, or is it all just in regards to like the area of
Yeah,
that
so
you remove?
for each plant you essentially get another base value of the plant. So different
Okay.
plants have different base values. All of the ones that we've been seeing, other than the seeds, have just a value of 1. So when you harvest them, you get 1, 2, and 3, so a total of 6 points. The bird actually that just came in here is a little incentive for harvesting a particular plant, and it offsets that combo up a little bit. So this will be +2 and +3.
Okay.
So it's worth
So you
more.
can match 2 if you
Yes,
wanted.
yeah,
Okay.
you can match 1,
Oh,
you
really?
can match
Okay.
3, so you can match any amount, and that's actually quite useful because sometimes you need to kind of connect areas.
Well, so I guess my question then is like, what's the failure state if you can match
Yeah.
1?
So the failure state is if I only match 1, I now have 2 fewer spots.
Okay.
And so if I do that enough times, which you'll be forced to do because you're kind of anticipating these different drops, but you don't always get what you need, you wind up losing space. So if I kind of make bad moves, essentially what will happen is I'll start to have much fewer choices about where I put things. So here, the game ends.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah.
Interesting.
Then in addition to kind of that core game, there's also a little meta game in which you're collecting plants.
Okay.
And this gives you the ability to move these birds onto different plants.
Okay. So what does the bird do then?
So the bird gives you bonus points essentially, and it lets you optimize which plants are worth more. And so that kind of changes what you're going to focus on in the game.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you could. Is there a reason why you would shift that between like game to game, or?
Well, you might want to try different strategies. If you'll unlock a total of 4 birds
Okay.
for 7 plants, and so you could try having all of your birds on the early plants, which would
Okay.
give you a lot of velocity.
Okay.
But your later plants wouldn't be worth as much, and so that may or may not be worth it. There's a trade-off there.
It's kind of an interesting mechanic to add depth to a game that otherwise looks so simple, right?
Yeah, it helps kind of make it so that the optimal strategy isn't always clear, because otherwise you would wind up kind of replaying the same way. And this way you can actually say, well, what if I try for a rare thing like getting a lot of oak trees with a lot of birds, which is very, very hard and maybe has a low success rate,
Right.
versus putting it on all of your easy plants, which is going to be more stable in terms
Okay.
of a strategy.
Cool. So is this going to be free to play or premium, or what's
Yeah,
the?
so it's going to be a free-to-play game. This is kind of an unlocked copy here, but you'll be able to watch a video ad to get plays back, and so there's just a
Okay.
metered play system and an in-app to get rid of that system.
Okay. Cool. And any idea when this is going to launch?
Probably in the next couple weeks, maybe a month. It's kind of up in the air right now. I'm trying to figure out all of the details, but very
Cool.
soon. There's also there's achievements which kind of provide an additional layer of challenge if you wanted to. Some of them are like just heuristics for how you're performing, and other ones are like things that you wouldn't do ordinarily and you would have to kind of hunt for.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for showing us.